Good morning, beloveds. It's kind of dark outside today. It is muggy outside today. But it was personal trainer day, and so yeah. I mean, it's only in the 70s, but it's so thick. Uh, it's so thick that you're just like, just rain already, just rain already. So it may be an interesting day. I do enjoy the rain, but I like the rain better on days that I can be off and I can curl up on my couch with a good book and I would say a cup of hot, but I don't drink anything hot. Occasionally I'll drink cocoa, but it's too hot for that. And so I can open my windows and listen to the rain. But it's a work day, so not for me. Um, but it is April 14th. Our title is I Know That God is Blessing Me Now with His Whole Spirit. And the quote, the Bible quote is, "My cup runneth over," from Psalm 23:5. I alert my mind to every blessing in my life this day. I know that I abide in the omnipresence of good, and that all around me on all sides God is pressing upon me as good. My cup runneth over. There is no limitation to the amount of God in my world, and I let this great presence flood me with blessings. Unlimited health is mine, uncountable prosperity is mine, eternal peace is mine. I drop out of my consciousness every contradicting thought of limitation. I know only the expanding truth of life, and I become a greater person, a rarer soul, and a more loving companion today. I know that God is blessing me now with His whole Spirit. I have faith in the Christ that abides in me in fullness. I have faith in the overflowing cup of truth, and I drink therefrom of the living waters, and I shall never thirst again. The Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom is upsurging within me to make me a greater person. Unto me there comes the guidance of a mind supreme. I know that more good is within me than I can now sense and appreciate. All that is of truth pours itself into my consciousness, and I freely accept all its bounty. The richness of the universe is mine to use and to enjoy. Knowing that abundance is mine, I also know this for my friends, my coworkers, and my family. Theirs also is a cup that runneth over. To them also is given the richness of the Spirit. We are all living together in a spiritual universe that is forever showering us with blessings. For all those blessings that appear on my pathway, I rejoice and give thanks. All right, there was one line in here that really, it caught me off guard because, and as soon as I find it. Oh, okay, it was in the first paragraph. There is no limitation to the amount of God in my world. And it's God. It's not good. There's no limitation to the amount of God in my world. And you don't hear that very often. And it's one of those that it caught me and I went, oh. Because you hear us say it a lot. There's no limitation of, there's of good in the world. But they just came right out and said it. And it's just kind of one of those that it kind of catches your attention and you think about it for a minute. Because in Science of Mind, we teach that all is God. So, it's an interesting thought there. Okay, so I know that God is blessing me now with God's whole Spirit. That's the title. And the truth is God is doing that all the time. Because we're made of God's stuff. So God is constantly blessing us with the whole Spirit. It's interesting that while we are in this form, it's like, yes, we have access to all of God. We are just not all at once. Not all at once. It's kind of like we have to pick and choose. But if we exercise that muscle, if we work on it, if we practice it, we have access to more of God at one time. And that's the point of spiritual practice. The spiritual practice is to exercise those God muscles, so that we have access to the faith, the power, the belief, the love, the peace. And not only does it become easier to access, but we also have access to more of it at once. That's why it's called a spiritual practice. We get better at it. So my cup runneth over. I alert my mind to every blessing in my life this day. And that's simply that wake-up call of your blessings are all around you all the time. Consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. Are you aware of them? Are you aware of them? Because the more you see, the more there is. I know that I abide in the omnipresence of good, and that around me on all sides is God pressing upon me as good. So it's like there's nowhere God is not. God is right here, right now. God is right there, right now. God was there. God will be there. Always. Always. And it really is up to us to look and see. Look and see. My cup runneth over. There is no limitation to the amount of God in my world. So there's no limitation to the amount of God in my world. The only limitation to the amount of God in my world is what I myself put on it. So it behooves me to be open to seeing God in places that I hadn't before, to experiencing God in ways that I hadn't before. And I let this great presence flood me with blessings, because the more aware of God around me that I am, then the more of those God qualities of peace and harmony and creativity and joy and happiness, the more of those that I'm going to be, and I'm going to use the word willing to practice, willing to access, willing to have more of around me. Unlimited health is mine, uncountable prosperity is mine, eternal peace is mine. And sometimes with uncountable prosperity, some prosperity is uncountable because we get this idea that prosperity is stuff, and that's not all that prosperity is. Because there's a prosperity to our feelings, there's a prosperity to our friendships, there's a prosperity to our relationships. So yeah, sometimes I think that's one of the things that Ernest is constantly pushing us to do, is to expand our definitions. I drop out of my consciousness every contradicting thought of limitation. That's a spiritual practice in and of itself. Like every time you catch yourself thinking a limiting thought, you have to stop and go, nope. As a teacher of mine used to say, cancel, that's not mine. It works. Try it. I know only the expanding truth of life, and I become a greater person, a rarer soul, and a more loving companion today. So as we become to know the expanding truth of life, the oneness, the unity, then you become a greater person, a rarer soul, and a more loving companion. And everybody has the possibility of that, but it does take work. And I think that's why he says a rarer soul. It's like everybody has that same soul. It's just how many of us are exercising our souls. Apparently that's a theme today. I know that God is blessing me now with God is blessing me now with God, the whole Spirit. God is blessing me now with the whole Spirit. I have access to the whole Spirit. I have faith in the Christ that abides in me in fullness. I didn't get a little bit of the Christ consciousness. I got all of it. Just like you have all of the Christ consciousness within you. You just have to access it. And as always, the password is love. The password is love. And it is any kind of love. Any kind of love will get you started. If that is the love of the love, if it is familial love, or what is that, brothership love, or romantic love, or love of a pet, or a love of a situation, any love will get you started on the Christ consciousness. It doesn't matter. Frequently loving another, be that a child or a partner, or is easier to start with than loving yourself. But so that's what I'm saying, any love will work, and gradually all of the loves will come into play. And the more love you have, the more full you are practicing that Christ consciousness, the more access you'll have to it. You got it. It's just using it. I have faith in the overflowing cup of truth, and I drink therefrom of the living waters, and I shall never thirst again, because I know God, I know Christ, I know love. And once you know that, once you know it in your bones, as Ruth likes to say, once you know it in your bones, nothing can ever take that away from you. You'll never thirst again. The Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom is upsurging within me to make me a greater person. The Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom is upsurging. That's what we're practicing. Life, love, and wisdom. Go out and do. But remember, you are also a being, so take time to rest and be. Unto me there comes the guidance of a mind supreme. I know that more good is within me than I can now sense and appreciate. I know that there is more good within me than I can now sense and appreciate. The possibilities are endless. Possibilities are unlimited. And I freely accept all that is of truth pours itself into my consciousness, and I freely accept all its bounty. I am open to this cup of truth. I am open to the cup of truth pouring into me all the time, and I freely accept it. The richness of the universe is mine to use and to enjoy. Knowing that the abundance is mine, I also know this for my friends, my coworkers, my family. Knowing this abundance is mine, I know it for everybody else. There is nobody that I don't know this abundance for. Whether I know you or not, whether I'm going to use the word like you or not, I know this for you because we're all one, and whether I know you or not, I can still love you. There's also is a cup that runneth over. To them also is given the richness of the Spirit. We are all living together in a spiritual universe that is forever showering us with blessings. We are all living together in a spiritual universe. We, all of us, we're all part of that same spiritual universe. And that same spiritual universe is constantly showering us with blessings, forever showering us with blessings. But we do have to accept them. For all those blessings that appear on my pathway, I rejoice and give thanks. And that gratitude has a powerful way of exponentiating blessings. So it's like, if you start with a small blessing and you're really grateful for it, it multiplies beyond what you would expect. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I know that God is blessing me with the whole Spirit. Oh, consciousness. All right. That's April 14th. I am going to move into the process of my day. But as always, oh, hang on. There's a couple of ways to go with the mission of the day. And so I'm going to kind of give you a two-part mission. The first one is that first line. Our mission today, should we choose it to accept it, is to alert our minds to every blessing. All day. It's like, be aware of your blessings. And to drop out of your consciousness every contradicting thought. So it's like, acknowledge your blessing when you see them. It's like, I see you. And then when you have a limiting thought, think. If you don't want to use my words, my teacher's words, cancel, this, it's not mine. Whatever. So recognize and acknowledge your blessings, cancel out your limiting thoughts. All right. That's the mission today, should you choose to accept it. And as always, I encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. All right. Today, it might be curling up with a good book and listening to the rain. I don't know that we're going to get any sunshine, but I do encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body. Go dance in the rain, go sing in the rain, do something loving. Do something that makes you feel good. A little thing. Go hug a tree, go plant a flower, whatever it looks like. The more kind and compassionate and loving you are with yourself, the more you'll have to share. It's just the way it works. That kind of activity multiplies itself. All right, beloveds. My morning's been a bit chaotic, so I'm going to move into the rest of the process of my day. I'm going to encourage you, please remember that you're a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. This is our state of grace. All right? So take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. It's like being in an airplane. Put your mask on first, then help your neighbors. All right? And I will tell you, springtime's an easy time to say this. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven now. Always and forever. All right? It's Wednesday, so the Living Science of Mind book study is today at 6 p.m. on Zoom. So if you're interested in that, email info@creativelife.org to get access to that link. And Reverend David will be on Facebook Live around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back on Facebook Live around 9 a.m. And as always, these talks from me are archived on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube. So if you want to hear them again, go to YouTube, look up the Running Rev Ryan. They're sorted into playlists by month and year. So if you want to do the old book, they're all there. Have a wonderful day, beloveds. All right? Do what you need to do.